The Japanese National Railway's C62 class was a fleet of 464 Baltic or Hudson-type steam locomotives that were rebuilt from the D52 classes from 1948 to 1949. They were some of the largest and most fastest Japanese-built steam locomotives that ever graced the country, as they'll be used on a Tsumbare service between Tokyo and Osaka, which had been reinstated in 1950 after a discontinuance in 1943 from Tokyo to Kobe by the preceding JGR. Despite the classes having the same boilers as that of the D52s, a fleet of 282 Mikados that were used on freight services, the C62s were primarily served on passenger trains. On the 15th of December 1954, a C62 steam locomotive, C62 number 17, became the fastest Cape Gauge boat steam engine in Japan, as, on the Hokkaido mainline, it reached a speed of 80 miles per hour, and thus breaking the speed record for the fastest narrow gauge built steam engine across the world. And it still holds that record to this very day. A few of the C62s were sent to Hokkaido to operate the Tenne Express between Otaru and Hakodate after they were displaced by the electrification of the Hokkaido main line. However, due to the steep gradients between Otaru and Oshimambe being at a 2.5%, 2 locomotives would be needed to double-head the service across the mountainous areas of Hokkaido, Japan, in which they gained a lot of attraction by tourists and rail fans until it unfortunately ended sometime in 1971. By the beginning of the 1970s, most of the C62s were beginning to be withdrawn, and by 1973, the last had ended up being withdrawn from service. And as of today, only 5 of the C62s have survived in the preservation. Starting with C62 number 2, which is currently at the Kyoto Railway Museum, as it only pulls 2 of the carriages on an 800-meter track within the museum's premises. The engine was the most popular amongst the C62s due to its stainless steel swallow emblems being attached to its deflectors when it was a part of the Hokkaido Mainline's Tsumbare service in the 1950s, and was given the nickname of the Swollen Angel because of these emblems. C62 number 3 has been brought back into service in the 1980s after the privatization of the Japanese National Railways in 1987. However, due to the costs of keeping the largest engine to ever exist on Japanese rail mainlines operational, eventually the locomotive was withdrawn from service when its boiler certificate expired, and is now on display at the Hokkaido's Nambedo Works in Sapporo. The fastest narrow-gauge steam engine in the whole wide world, C62 number 17, is currently on display at the SC Maglev and Railway Park in Nagoya, Japan. And the rest of the C62s that are preserved now is currently on display at the Kyoto Railway Museum alongside C62 number 2. Within the popular culture scene, the C62s had made their appearances in a Japanese manga/anime known as Galaxy Express 999, which stars a C62-like steam engine pulling a passenger train as it takes its passengers throughout the galaxy towards their destinations. The founders of Hudson Soft, the same company in which they gave us Mario Party, were both railway enthusiasts named Yuju and Hirohoshi Kundo, 2 brothers that were fond of the C62s as well as the other 464 type locomotives, and so they named their company after the first Hudson type to be built in North America, the New York Central J class, which were named after the Hudson River. The C62s are now considered to be the most iconic Japanese-built steam engine across the country, for making appearances in popular media, as well as having 5 of the members now being preserved. The king of the Japanese railway system still lives on as a part of the Japanese railway system's history.